Teachers need to teach behaviour as clearly and effectively as they teach their subject knowledge. Those teachers that are effective know what their rules are, have defined them clearly and share them with their learners. Not only that, but they apply them consistently, fairly, and they ensure that when they react to misdemeanours, they do so at an appropriate level. At the end of the day, the behaviour you get from your children is largely the result of the way you behave yourself. If you overreact and don't remain assertive and calm, then you can expect situations to escalate in your classroom. In this video, you will see a series of strategies and techniques that will help you to know in advance what to do to deal with certain situations and how to communicate your expectations to your learners clearly. Applying this will ensure that you have more freedom and space to work your subject knowledge into the lesson and to ensure progress and attainment. You can also use praise occasionally in the classroom to reinforce your expectations and even as a behaviour management strategy. Sometimes you don't want to stop teaching to deal with an issue that's cropped up because it's quite low level, but you need to point out that you've noticed it and that you're unhappy. One strategy is called proximity praise. This is where you praise other children around the child who's done something wrong. For example, in the next clip, a child enters the classroom late, but rather than stop the whole lesson and waste lesson time telling off the child at that moment, the teacher thanks everybody else in the lesson for being on time and simply looks at the child, then carries on teaching.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you today. We have a lot to get through. However, what I would like to do before we get going into the lesson objectives, I'd like you to talk you through some rules of the room that I have. The first thing is punctuality. I'd like to thank most of you for getting here on time today. Punctuality is very, very important, and I expect you all to be here on time.
There are lots of ways in which you can use proximity praise in the classroom. Imagine you're a child who's still sat with your coat on in my classroom. Rather than challenge you directly in the middle of teaching, I could simply look to the child either side and praise them, and then just give you a look. It works like this. Thank you for not having your coat on. Thank you for not having your coat on. Sometimes, simply by doing that, you will get the child to comply without having to deal with their behaviour, without having to talk to them, and therefore not getting them to argue back or backchat. Also, the children who were doing the right thing got praised, and everyone in the classroom heard what your expectations were.